The casino floor went dead silent. Chuck Norris stood in the center, fists clenched, eyes locked on one man. "Bruce, I challenge you. Right here. Right now." Everyone froze, cameras stopped. Drinks were set down mid-sip. The slot machines kept ringing, but nobody heard them anymore. All eyes turned to the corner table where Bruce Lee sat, calm, composed, sipping tea like nothing had happened. He didn't move. He just smiled, calm, quiet, like he'd seen this coming. The kind of smile that says, "I know something you don't." Chuck took a step forward. His boots echoed across the marble floor. "Did you hear me, Bruce?" Bruce slowly set down his cup. The porcelain clinked softly against the saucer. He looked up. "I heard you, Chuck." "Then what's your answer?" Bruce stood, slowly. No rush, no theatrics. He adjusted his collar, rolled his neck once, and what happened in the next 9 seconds? A changed martial arts history forever. It wasn't a punch. It wasn't a kick. It wasn't even a fight. It was something far more powerful. Something that left Chuck Norris speechless. Something that made every person in that room realize they were witnessing a legend in action. Before we dive in, drop a comment and tell me, where are you watching from? And if you respect legends who stay humble under pressure, type Ligon below. Because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a lesson in respect, power, and what it truly means to be a master. Let's go. It was late 1972, Las Vegas. Bright lights, massive crowds, the city that never sleeps. The place where fortunes are made and lost in a single hand. But tonight wasn't about gambling. Tonight was about warriors. Bruce Lee had just wrapped filming Enter the Dragon, exhausted, drained, running on fumes and sheer willpower. The movie that would cement his legacy forever was in the can, but Bruce didn't know that yet. All he knew was that his body was screaming for rest. His back was injured. His muscles were sore. His mind was foggy from months of non-stop work. He wasn't there to perform. He wasn't there to fight. He was there to relax with a few close friends at a private event inside the Golden Sands Casino, a charity exhibition for martial arts legends. A low-key night. No pressure, no expectations, or so he thought. The event was invitation only. Top fighters from around the world. Karate champions, kung fu masters, judo legends. Everyone who was anyone in the martial arts world was there. The atmosphere was electric but respectful. Warriors greeting warriors, bows exchanged. Stories shared. Bruce sat in a quiet corner, away from the noise, just trying to blend in. But the moment word spread that Bruce Lee was in the building, the atmosphere shifted. Heads turned, whispers started. Cameras appeared out of nowhere. Fighters, celebrities, gamblers, everyone wanted a piece of the legend. Some wanted autographs. Some wanted photos. Some just wanted to see him in person. Bruce handled it all with grace, smiling. Nodding, being polite, but you could see it in his eyes. He was tired. And then he walked in, Chuck Norris. The energy in the room changed instantly. Chuck wasn't just another guest. He was a presence, fresh off his own rising fame, multiple-time world karate champion, Tang Soo Do grandmaster, confident, respected, hungry to prove himself. He'd worked with Bruce before. They were friends, training partners, even co-stars in Way of the Dragon, where they had that iconic fight scene in the Colosseum. That fight was choreographed. Cinematic. But tonight something was different. Chuck walked through the crowd like a man on a mission. His jaw was set, his shoulders squared, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on one person, Bruce. His team whispered behind him. Cameras followed his every step. People parted like the Red Sea. Some thought he was just coming to say hello. Others sensed something deeper. Chuck stopped 10 feet away from Bruce's table. The conversations around them died down. People nearby leaned in, pretending not to listen but hanging on every word. Bruce. Bruce looked up from his tea, mid-conversation with an old friend. His face softened when he saw who it was. "Good to see you, brother." He smiled. Genuine, warm, but Chuck didn't return the smile. His face was stone. "I didn't come here to drink tea." The temperature in the room dropped. Bruce's friend quietly excused himself, sensing what was coming. The tension was instant, thick enough to cut with a knife. People nearby stopped pretending. They turned. They stared. Security guards near the walls straightened up, hands moving instinctively toward their radios. Bruce set down his cup slowly, carefully, like he was buying himself a moment to read the situation. "Then what did you come for?" His voice was calm, neutral, not challenging, but not backing down either. Chuck's jaw tightened. His fists clenched at his sides. He took one step closer. "I came to see if the legend is real." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. Silence. Absolute silence. Someone in the back dropped a glass. The sound of it shattering echoed through the entire casino floor. Bruce didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't react at all. He just held Chuck's gaze, steady, unflinching, reading him. Was this a challenge, a test, a moment of ego, or something deeper? Bruce tilted his head slightly, studying Chuck like a puzzle, and then very quietly he spoke. And if the legend isn't what you expect, then what? Chuck's eyes burned with intensity. Then the world deserves to know the truth. Now the crowd wasn't just watching. They were invested. Phones, the few that existed back then, were grabbed. A reporter in the corner pulled out a notepad and started scribbling furiously. This wasn't a movie. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This wasn't choreographed. This was about to be real, two legends. Face to face in the middle of Las Vegas, and no one knew what would happen next. Before we continue, pause and comment. Do you think Chuck was serious, or was this just for show? Type serious or show-o. Let's see what you think. The words hung in the air like smoke. Bruce didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't even shift his weight. He just sat there still as a statue, calm as a lake before dawn. But his eyes were alive, processing, calculating, understanding. He tilted his head slightly, the way a teacher looks at a student who's about to learn something they didn't know they needed. The silence stretched. 5 seconds. 15. People barely breathed. Finally, Bruce spoke. You want to test me, Chuck? His voice was soft, almost gentle. But there was steel underneath. Chuck didn't hesitate. I want to know if you're as fast as they say. And if I'm not. Bruce leaned back in his chair, completely relaxed, hands resting on the table. Chuck leaned forward, intensity radiating off him like heat. Then the world deserves to know the truth. More whispers erupted around them. The crowd was growing now. Word was spreading through the casino like wildfire. Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris are about to go at it. No way. Here, now. Someone get a camera. A security guard reached for his radio, but his supervisor shook his head. Let it play out. Just watch. Bruce remained seated. His face gave nothing away, but inside, he was weighing options. His back was injured. He was exhausted. This wasn't the time or place for a fight, but Chuck wasn't backing down. And backing down wasn't in Bruce's nature either. Not because of pride, because of principle. If he refused, people would talk. They'd say he was afraid. They'd say the legend was a myth. And worse, Chuck would leave here tonight without the answer he was searching for. Bruce understood something most people didn't. This wasn't about him. This was about Chuck needing to know, needing to see, and sometimes, the greatest act of respect is giving someone the truth they're asking for, even if it hurts. Bruce stood up slowly. No hurry, no theatrics, no flexing or posturing. He rolled his shoulders once, stretched his neck. The crowd gasped. People pushed closer. All right. Chuck's eyes lit up. His fists tightened. But then Bruce raised a hand. Not here. Chuck frowned. Bruce glanced around the room. Dozens of people now, cameras, reporters. Gamblers placing bets in the background. He looked back at Chuck. Because if I embarrass you in front of all these people, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. The crowd gasped. Someone whispered. Did he just say that? Chuck's eyes narrowed. His jaw clenched so hard you could see the muscles twitch. I'm not the one who's going to be embarrassed. Bruce smiled, not cocky, not cold. Just knowing. The kind of smile that says, we'll see. Then let's go outside. Back alley. No audience, just you, me, and the truth. The crowd exploded in murmurs. He's actually doing it. They're going outside. This is insane. Security tried to step in. 2 guards moved toward the table. Gentlemen, we can't allow. But Bruce raised a hand. Calm, authoritative, it's fine. This won't take long. Chuck was already walking toward the exit. His team followed. The crowd surged behind them. Bruce took one last sip of his tea, set the cup down gently. Then he followed. What no one in that room knew. What Chuck didn't know. What even Bruce's closest friends didn't fully understand. Bruce had injured his back just weeks earlier during training. A serious injury. The kind that could end a career if not handled carefully. He was in pain. Real pain. Sharp, shooting pain that ran up his spine every time he moved too quickly. His doctor told him not to fight. Not to train hard. Not to do anything that could make it worse. Bruce, you need rest. If you push yourself now, you could do permanent damage. But Bruce wasn't about to back down. Not from Chuck. Not from anyone. Pride, maybe a little. But more than that, respect. If Chuck wanted the truth, Bruce was going to give it to him. Even if it hurt. Even if it cost him. Because that's what warriors do. They show up, they face the challenge, they honor the request. They walked through the casino, past the slot machines, past the poker tables, past the roulette wheels spinning endlessly. People followed like a parade. At least 30, maybe 40 people now. Friends, fighters. A few lucky bystanders who happened to be in the right place at the right time. Someone muttered, "This is going to be legendary." Another replied, "Or a disaster." They pushed through the back exit. The heavy metal door slammed shut behind them. The alley was dim, narrow. A single streetlight flickered above, casting long shadows on the cracked pavement. No ropes, no ref, no rules, no safety net. Just two warriors, and the truth. Chuck took off his jacket, tossed it to one of his guys, rolled his shoulders, cracked his knuckles. He was bigger than Bruce. Heavier, stronger in raw power. 6 feet tall. 200 pounds of muscle and discipline. Bruce stood still, hands by his sides, breathing slow and steady. 5'7", 140 pounds soaking wet. But presence, unmatched. Someone in the crowd whispered, as Bruce scared. Another person, an older martial artist who'd trained with Bruce before, replied quietly, "No, he's not scared." "Then what is he?" The old man smiled. "He's focused." Chuck stepped into the center of the alley, bounced on his toes, shook out his arms. Bruce didn't move. He just watched, studying, reading, waiting. Chuck stopped bouncing, locked eyes with Bruce, ready. Bruce nodded once. "Whenever you are." The crowd held its breath. The streetlight flickered, and the challenge began. Drop a comment. Who do you think had the advantage here? Chuck's size and strength, or Bruce's speed and skill? Type CCK or Brarcy. Let's see who you're rooting for. Chuck stepped forward first, no hesitation. No second guessing. He came in fast, aggressive, committed. A clean front kick aimed directly at Bruce's midsection. Powerful, precise, the kind of kick that had won him countless championships. The crowd gasped. But Bruce sidestepped, barely. It looked effortless, like he'd known exactly where the kick was going before Chuck even threw it. The kick whistled past, missing by inches. Chuck's foot slammed into empty air and he quickly pulled it back, resetting his stance. No damage, no contact, but a message had been sent. Chuck was fast, but Bruce was faster. Chuck circled left. Bruce mirrored him. Their eyes never broke contact. The alley was silent except for the sound of their footsteps on the pavement. Chuck feinted with his lead hand. Bruce didn't react. Then Chuck threw a jab. Sharp, direct. Bruce slipped it. His head moved maybe 2 inches. Just enough. Chuck followed with a cross. His signature punch. The one that had knocked out dozens of opponents. Bruce slipped that too. No wasted movement. Smooth as water flowing around a rock. Not flashy. Not showy. Just efficient. Someone in the crowd whispered, "Did you see that?" "See what?" "Exactly." Chuck paused. Reset his stance. His breathing was steady, but his eyes showed something new. Respect. Maybe a hint of frustration. "You're fast," Chuck admitted. Bruce didn't smile. Didn't gloat. He just nodded once. "You haven't seen anything yet." And that's when Chuck decided to turn up the heat. He came in again, this time with more commitment, more power, more intent. A jab to set up the distance. A low kick to test Bruce's base. Then a spinning back kick. The crowd gasped. It was beautiful, powerful, precise, picture-perfect form. The kind of kick that could drop a bull. The kind of technique that takes years to master. Chuck's body rotated like a coiled spring, releasing all its energy at once. His heel cut through the air, aimed at Bruce's ribs. It should have connected. By all rights, it should have landed clean. But Bruce moved through it. Not around. Not away. Through. He closed the gap in a heartbeat. While Chuck was still mid-rotation, still committed to the technique, Bruce was already inside his guard. Before Chuck's foot even completed the arc, Bruce's hand was there. Frozen. Hovering. An inch from Chuck's throat. Time stopped. The entire alley went silent. Chuck's eyes went wide. His body was still twisted from the kick. Completely exposed. Completely vulnerable. He couldn't move. Couldn't defend. Couldn't counter. He was frozen. Bruce didn't strike. Didn't push. Didn't apply even an ounce of pressure. He just held the position. His hand steady, his eyes calm. The message was crystal clear. If this were real. Bruce let the sentence hang in the air. He didn't need to finish it. Everyone knew. If this were a real fight, a real challenge, Chuck would already be finished. Bruce slowly pulled his hand back, stepped away, gave Chuck space. Chuck landed on his feet, straightened up, his chest heaving, not from exhaustion, from realization. He stood there for a moment, processing what had just happened. Then he looked at Bruce. Really looked at him. And he said one word. Again. What the crowd didn't see. What no one standing in that alley could possibly know. Bruce's back spasmed the moment he moved, sharp, burning, like a knife twisting between his vertebrae. A wave of pain shooting up his spine so intense his vision blurred for a split second. But his face didn't show it. His body didn't betray him. Years of training. Years of discipline. Years of learning to control not just his muscles but his mind. He breathed through it. Focused past it. Controlled it. This wasn't just about winning. This was about proving that control, not force, is the ultimate weapon. That a true master doesn't need to destroy his opponent. He just needs to show them the truth. They reset. Chuck took a deep breath, rolled his neck, shook out his arms. This time, his eyes were different. Not angry, not frustrated, focused. He came in again, harder this time, more committed, more calculated. A flurry of punches, crisp, clean, professional, jab, cross, uppercut, each one thrown with perfect form, perfect timing. Bruce blocked the jab, parried the cross, slipped the hook, ducked under the uppercut. Every move was efficient, minimal, exact, no wasted energy. No unnecessary flourishes, just pure technique. Chuck mixed in elbows now. Close-range weapons designed to break through tight defenses. Bruce redirected them. Used Chuck's momentum against him. Guided the strikes past his body like water flowing around stones. Then Chuck threw a knee. Fast, explosive. Bruce checked it with his shin. The impact echoed through the alley. Both men felt it. Both men respected it. Chuck stepped back, breathing harder now. Sweat beginning to form on his forehead. But he wasn't done. He came in one more time. This time with everything he had, a combination he drilled 10,000 times. Punch, kick, spin, elbow. It was beautiful. It was powerful. It was perfect. But Bruce was already gone. He moved like smoke, like shadow, like something that existed between the seconds. And then, he countered. A straight punch, not hard but fast, impossibly fast. It came from nowhere. From everywhere. From a place Chuck didn't even know existed. It stopped half an inch from Chuck's nose, dead center. Perfect placement. Time froze again. Chuck's eyes went wide. Wider than before. He was staring cross-eyed at Bruce's fist. So close he could feel the displacement of air against his skin. He hadn't even seen it coming. Hadn't felt it. Hadn't sensed it. One moment there was empty space. The next moment, Bruce's fist, like it had teleported. Chuck didn't breathe. Didn't move. Didn't blink. Bruce held the position for 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. Then he pulled back. Slowly, deliberately, he lowered his hand, stepped back, and he spoke. Quietly, gently. Do you understand now? Chuck was breathing heavy, sweating, his heart pounding, but his eyes were clear. He understood. He'd just experienced something most martial artists only hear about. True speed. True precision. True mastery. He'd felt what it was like to face someone who existed on a completely different level. Not because of strength. Not because of size. Because of understanding. Chuck exhaled, long and slow, then he smiled, a real smile, genuine, full of respect.
Yeah.
I understand. Bruce extended his hand not as a victor, not as someone who'd just proven a point, as a brother. Chuck looked at it. Then he looked at Bruce and he took it. The handshake was firm. Respectful, meaningful. The crowd erupted in cheers. Not because of a fight, because of what they'd just witnessed. 2 warriors. 2 legends. One seeking truth, one delivering it. And both walking away with more respect than they'd arrived with. Comment below, do you think Bruce held back out of respect? Or because he knew he didn't need to go harder? Type RESPTD or SQ.